This is WYMT Mountain News First at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Steve Hensley. First at 4, Vice President Mike Pence announces millions of dollars will help fight the opioid crisis in Eastern Kentucky. The Vice President spoke at the Manchester campus of Eastern Kentucky University this afternoon. WYMT's Connor James was there and begins our coverage.
Today, during Vice President Mike Pence's third visit to Kentucky this year, he announced nearly $10 million to help fight the opioid epidemic. A lot of that money going to areas in Eastern Kentucky. Before talking to a crowded room at Eastern Kentucky University's Manchester campus, Vice President Pence met with a group from Operation Coal Country. The group consists of members of the armed forces that provide free health care to people in the region. Vice President Mike Pence was joined on stage by Governor Matt Bevin, Congressman Hal Rogers, and Secretary of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Alex Azar. His main focus today addressing the issue of Kentucky's and really the nation's opioid epidemic.
The truth is we've been getting tougher on drug dealers and the flow of narcotics across this country tougher than ever before. But we know we can't arrest our way out of this problem. And that's why we got medical professionals and all new resources that are flowing at the point of the need. And people that are caught up in drug abuse and addiction need to know there's help.
Vice President Pence adding that during the last year, they've seen the number of prescription opioids and opioid-related deaths decline. I'm in Clay County. Connor James, WYMT Mountain News.
Well, hundreds of people came out to see the Vice President make his way to Clay County this morning. WYMT's Madison Pergram talked with folks, some who waited for several hours just to get a glimpse of the Vice President.
Earlier today, this is where 350 people stood outside waiting in line. They were all hoping to get the opportunity to see the Vice President Mike Pence. Some people even lined up hours before the doors opened at 10:45 a.m. Not only did people from Clay County come out, people from across the state and even a couple from Florida. Donnie Patrick was one of the first ones out here. He drove up early this morning from Williamsburg. He wanted to make sure he got to hear from Vice President Pence.
We knew it would be a huge crowd here to see the Vice President, so we wanted to make sure that we got here and got to see him.
Now those 350 people did make it inside to see the Vice President before they closed the doors due to capacity restrictions. Officials had to turn a few people away after those doors were closed, but those people had the opportunity to sit in the overflow area under the tent. In Clay County, Madison Pergram, WYMT Mountain News.
And we'll have more reaction to this historic visit coming up tonight at 5:30 and 6.
Well, we started out the day a little bit on the foggy side, but really we've seen sunshine throughout the day and all of us have been on the drier side. You'll notice as we take a look, Interstate 75 into London, you could see a little bit of that fog earlier this morning, those partly cloudy skies as well. Really, we've been hanging on to those clouds all day and we will continue to do so. As we look into downtown Whitesburg, those partly cloudy skies over there as well, but plenty of sunshine. And even looking at satellite and radar, you'll notice we haven't seen any of those rain chances today. It's been a nice quiet day. You see those clouds increasing a little bit down into parts of the Cumberland Valley. Check out those temperatures, definitely on the warmer side, anywhere from those low to mid 80s. Some spots closer to the upper 80s, especially if you're looking out west towards parts of Lexington, closer to 90, 88 in Richmond, 87 here in Hazard, and 81 over into Wise and Somerset. You guys are just a little bit cooler. As we look at tonight's forecast, though, we'll continue to be on the cooler side, of course, hanging on to those clouds as well by the time we get into the later evening hours, showing by the time we get to right around 10 o'clock, we'll be near 75 degrees. So another weak front looks to move in tomorrow, which is going to bring back those scattered rain chances, but high pressure moves in pretty quickly behind it for the weekend. And when's the next time we're going to see those rain chances return? I'll have a look at that full forecast coming up in just a little bit.
All right, Paige, thank you. People in West Tennessee are advised to be on guard. Authorities are searching for an escaped inmate after a prison employee was found dead. 44-year-old Curtis Ray Watson escaped from the West Tennessee State Penitentiary Wednesday. His absence was discovered after longtime employee Deborah Johnson was found dead. A lockdown then went into effect, and that is when officials noticed Watson was gone.
Curtis Watson was serving a 15-year sentence on an especially aggravated kidnapping conviction out of Henry County, 2013. His current sentence was due to expire in 2025. Watson had previously been convicted of aggravated child abuse out of Carroll County. That sentence expired in 2011.
Watson was working on farm detail, and authorities believe he used a tractor to escape. The vehicle was found roughly 1 mile away from the prison. A 33-year-old man is accused of killing 4 people and injuring 2 more during a stabbing spree in Southern California. Police say the killing spree began when the suspect burglarized an apartment in his own complex yesterday afternoon. He then allegedly robbed a nearby bakery. Following the robbery, police say the suspect then returned to the apartment complex and stabbed 2 men to death. Within the next few hours, the suspect allegedly killed a customer outside a Subway, and he also killed a security guard at a 7-Eleven.
It's pure evil when this happens, and we don't see this happen every day. This is one of those things you see one time in a career.
During the killing spree, the suspect stabbed 2 more people, a man and a woman. Both are expected to survive. Police say the only apparent motive was robbery, hate, and homicide. We are learning more about a call the mother of the suspected El Paso shooter made to police weeks before Saturday's attack at a Walmart. The mother of El Paso shooting suspect Patrick Crucius called because she was concerned about her son owning an AK-style assault rifle. But his family's attorney said Lori Crucius had, quote, absolutely no fear of violence nor any belief of an intent to do harm. Instead, she was concerned about her 21-year-old son's age and lack of experience with that type of firearm. She did not identify herself or her son to police. President Trump says there was a lot of love during his hospital visits to meet with victims of mass shootings in El Paso, Texas and Dayton, Ohio yesterday. The president met with shooting victims, medical staff, and first responders during the stops. Hospital administrators say the president listened to the victims' stories.
The love, the respect for the office of the presidency. I wish you could have been in there to see it.
And when you listen, you actually find out what the true sentiment is, what the experience was, and that's important.
The White House said it did not allow the press into the hospital visits because it did not want the event to turn into a photo op, but both the White House and the president then released photos on their own. Educators in the Floyd County School District are returning to their posts this week for another school year. As they receive their new duties and classes for the year, the faculty and staff have also received a 1% raise. That raise cost the district around $600,000, which Superintendent Danny Atkins says it was blessed to be able to afford in its budget. Atkins says the raise may not be a large amount per employee, but he hopes it shows the district's mission.
The cost of living never gets easier or cheaper, I should say. So anytime that we can help them with even with that small amount, anytime we can help our employees, that's our goal here.
Last year, Atkins says Floyd County also ruled that no hourly employee would work for less than $10 per hour. He says it's a way to show support for the hard workers in the county. Let's head over to Wall Street now on this Thursday afternoon. The Dow closes up today more than 371 points. One of Hollywood's best-known villains has just become a real-life hero. Actor Danny Trejo rescued a baby trapped inside a car after a crash. It all happened yesterday afternoon when 2 cars slammed into each other, and you can see one of them there flipped over. It was sitting on its roof and had a baby strapped into a car seat inside. Trejo says he and a woman who worked nearby worked together to get the baby out.
There was a baby inside and a grandma. And young lady, she left. Young lady had to crawl through the window because I crawled in. I couldn't get the baby out. I couldn't unbuckle the seatbelt. So she got in and undid the seatbelt. I pulled the baby out the other side.
3 people had to go to the hospital, but they are okay. Police say they're still not sure what caused the crash. Straight ahead on First at 4, we'll look back on the murders of actress Sharon Tate and her friends 50 years ago that shocked the nation.
And scattered rain chances return Friday, but the weekend's still looking pretty nice. I'll have a look at that full forecast coming up.